Good day, viewer. Good to have you here on your first agricultural TV station. The program is Aqua Farming. For those of you who are tuning in for the very first time, Aqua Farming is a program designed to tell you all you need to know that is in the water. Be it crabs, shrimps, frogs, even crocodiles, as far as they are aquatic animals, we bring them to discuss them. And today is not an exception, as we went far as we can to make sure we bring to you the best brains in the world of the fish so that they can be able to expatiate some very topical issues when it comes to fish farming and the likes. And today again is a regular face on the show, talking about Mr. Gabriel was a fish expert and also a consultant who has been in this business for quite some time, and he knows a lot about it, and he's going to be sharing some very intrinsic aspects of this very business, talking about fish farming. And today we'll be looking at the topic harvesting and grading of fish. Harvesting and grading of fish basically is one aspect in which fish farmers have actually neglected, and it has resulted to a lot of losses because you end up not knowing what you're doing or what you're supposed to do when next you are actually stocking your fish. So it's more reason why we're going to be talking about it right here on this show. Mr. Gerber, it's good to have you again on the show.
Thank you so much.
All right. In a nutshell, basically, can you describe what fish harvesting and grading is all about?
Yes, fish harvesting and grading entails the removal of adult fish from its culture media, and then the separation of same into various sizes, or on the basis of sizes, on the basis of weight, on the basis of looks, and on the basis of liveliness. Overall, fish farming is a procedural activity, and that means that from the first step to the last, the farmer has to get them all right. It is unfortunate that most times you see farmers invest a lot of capital and a lot of energy, a lot of labor, and then at the end of the day, the investments does not bring the commensurate returns as expected. And most times not because the farming activity was wrongly done, but the final activity of harvesting and grading is wrongly done, or it's not done at all, and that can take away the farmer's profit. So harvesting can be done in different ways. You know, I always tell farmers that right from the time of stocking, you ought to have an idea of when your fish are meant to be ready for the market. And therefore, as the time approaches, there is need for you to begin to try to see the level of readiness of your fish. So different forms of harvesting are recognized. We have what we call the test cropping. The test cropping is a method of harvesting in which water does not need to be drained from the pond, but you can only use your drag net to pick out samples of fish among the populations in the pond. And the essence is for you to visualize them, for you to assess them, for you to check the level of readiness prior to the actual harvest. So it is only done to see if the fish are responding or will meet up with the plans, the management plans, or the time has to be extended, or they need to be harvested earlier. So like the name implies, you are only testing to see. So we call it test cropping. After that, we also have what we call the partial cropping or partial harvest. In this case, the farmer brings out some reasonable numbers of fish from the pond. The water may be drained halfway or may be drained completely. And so some members in the population are harvested out of the pond, probably those that are ready. So the remaining ones can be fed for some time before they are finally harvested at a later period. But in essence, the harvesting is not absolute, it is only partial, as the name implies. So we also have what we call the total harvesting. So now, after carrying out the test cropping and maybe the partial cropping as well, what is left for you is total harvesting or total cropping. So you are going to take out all the fish from the pond. So that is what we call total harvesting. So in this case, you have to drain the pond completely, then bring out the fish for your market or for the processing or for whatever reason that you are bringing them out for. But the farmer must know that right from day one of a stocking, from where your seeds are sourced, you should have a recommendation and expectation as well that say maybe in 150 days time, in 5 months time or in 4 months time, my fish should be having an average weight of this. Then the farmer too has an intention that I want to sell my fish at 1 kg average weight. I want to sell at 1.5 average weight. So you monitor your fish continuously so that once such weight is attained, then you send them to the market. Now, after harvesting of fish, it doesn't end there. From your stocking to the management practices up to the point of harvest, your work has not ended. So you still have to continue. What is the next thing to be done? After harvest, a lot of farmers harvest their fish and sell. Just this morning, I was interacting with a client who wants to sell at the end of the month. And the questions I was asking, she could not provide all the answers. You want to sell, what is the average weight? And some are weighing 2 kg, some are below 1 kg. Okay, of those weighing 2 kg and 1 kg, which are the extremes, and below 1, which are the extremes, which has higher population? She doesn't know, which means she had even no plans of sorting and grading before the sales. So the farmer must know that after harvesting, you don't have to just sell them like that, because the fish market is such in a way that the buyer is paying based on the weight of the fish. There are some buyers that are paying based on the liveliness of the fish. There are yet others that are paying based on whether the fish is dead or is alive or looks attractive. So you ought to sort and separate them into these respective categories. So once that is done, you are able to make maximum money from each of the category as it is sold. But when you combine whole and sell, you discover that most times the buyers are going to just give you any money they want to give you, and you will have to take it, because why? You don't have any alternative, and as most persons don't even have processing facilities. So grading and sorting entails that the farmer should separate his fish based on sizes, based on weight, based on degree of liveliness, and even degree of attraction. So different customers have different needs. So you are going to serve all your customers based on your needs, and you will have higher return on your investment in so doing.
Wow, that's quite interesting. Well, my next question is, okay, when it comes to grading of fish, we have different type of fish grading. Which is the most efficient and important when a farmer wants to grade his fish?
Yes, all forms of grading are important, but when it comes to degree of importance, I would say that the farmer should pay more attention on the respective sizes and degree of liveliness of the fish. There are people who don't like dead fish. There are people who prefer to see their fish alive. I'm one of them. There are people who prefer to eat fish that is big. So when you combine your smaller and bigger fish, and a middleman comes to buy, he goes ahead to sort them, to grade them, and then he sells the bigger ones at higher rates, or more than you that used 5 months or 4 months to culture this fish, and they are making more money than you are. So if there has to be prioritization should be given to sizes and then liveliness. And that is why during harvesting, farmers must be cautious that even though you know that the end result is that these fishes are not going to survive some, maybe they are going to die soon, but you should try as much as possible to handle them with care, because that is going to affect their processing as well, so that they get to the hands of the final consumer in an wholesome state. So you don't brutalize them during harvesting. You be careful and you try to have most of them alive. That is the only way that you can make maximum money from your investment.
Many thanks for staying with us on your first agricultural TV station. The program has been Aqua Farming, where none other but a fish expert, Gabriel Wase, has been telling us more on grading of fish and all you need to know about harvesting the same fish. Let's go on this quick break. When we return, the program is 7 minutes. Stay tuned.
The Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria (ARCN) coordinates the activities of research institutes and is responsible for supervision, regulation, coordination of research activities and programs of higher institutions in Nigeria. And Professor Hamidu Shaributu, since assumption as Executive Secretary of ARCN in April 2020, has solidified the transformation of agriculture in Nigeria through strategic and meaningful execution of research findings for improvement of the agricultural sector.
For grains, we have the parabolic solar dryers. These are specialized solar dryers used for drying agricultural produce such as whole grains, yam and cassava chips, fruits and vegetables more efficiently. It is made of a special material that concentrates the rays of the sun within the enclosure while eliminating harmful ultraviolet radiation. Products dried are free from contaminants and are hygienic.
The parabolic shaped solar dryer is a need-based technology because virtually when we travel all over the country, you will see by the roadside, you see people drying all sorts of agricultural produce. Some spread their own on bare ground, and by the time the vehicles are moving, the dust stay on the products. The reptiles will come, they will eat whatever they can eat, drop their feces and their urine on it, and the owner comes in the evening to pack everything together and still eat that product. And the product has been contaminated, and we feel this is not right, and it is part of our mandate to make sure that we set it right, and that was what led to this, so that we can solve this problem at the grassroots level. Instead of drying by the roadside, drying on just bare ground in their villages, when they have this as a drying center, everybody in the community can bring their product there, spread on the tray, and they get it dry under hygienic condition that is covered. And the dryer also have another property to screen the ultraviolet ray of the sun, which is also can cause hazard to human health.
Since then, Professor Shaributu has operated as visionary captain by restoring the council's glory with the first ever agricultural television and radio station in Nigeria, with well-equipped studios parading state-of-the-art equipment.
The Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria also has a brand new electronic library to further promote research and visualizations of deep thoughts on agricultural development in Nigeria.
The museum, located in the Senator Abdullahi Adamu Center, is an agricultural museum saddled with the responsibility of keeping records of agricultural findings, discoveries, researches for continuity and history purposes.
Now, this is the museum that we have constructed. We did this museum because we want it to be a source of information for anybody that is coming. Very soon, by the grace of God, the private veterinarians and those in government want to have their data here. And why we want it is because anybody that has interest in sponsoring any form of research or wants to do activities, once you come and click, the data of all the veterinarians will be reflected here. And I'm talking about where they are, how they are faring, and what are their organizations, so that we'll be able to give people, feed people the information at one point.
The Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria is wearing a new look under the stewardship of Professor Garba Hamidu Shaributu, who says, "Alone, I am nothing, but together, I am something." ARCN,
promoting agriculture.
Many thanks for staying with us here on your first agricultural TV station. Before we went on that break, of course, we've been discussing harvesting and grading of fish. And of course, Mr. Gabriel Walsey has really done a lot of justice to this very topic. Now, Mr. Gabriel, how important is this very aspects of fish routine important to a farmer? How important is it?
Very important. Very important. Because it appears like this is the final step that a farmer has to take before giving off the product. And if it is not properly done, this is the phase where the labor that has been done over the months can be lost. So the farmer must be careful as to be able to carry out, pass through the stress to carry out the sorting and then the grading. The way the fish market is today, I myself as a person, as an individual, have questioned, because fish is sold on the basis of weight. But I'm still surprised that if you carry 10 pieces of fish that gives you 1 kg, or you have one single piece that gives you 1 kg, since the sale is based on weight, one would assume that there should be no difference. But this is not the case in fish. As long as there are multiple pieces that will give you 1 kg, the buyer is paying less per kg. And if a single piece gives you 1 kg, he pays different. So this calls for an importance for the farmer to sort and grade. Because if you don't do so, the bigger ones that should have fetched you a bigger sum will be sold at an amount that is similar to those smaller ones. So this is where losses can come in. So farmers should be careful. Some may feel that this activity is tedious, is stressful, but it's rather good for you to pass through that stress and have value for your investment rather than giving off the stress and then giving off your profit as well. So I must emphasize that grading of fish is very important before the marketing aspect of it.
Okay, my question now is, why is it that farmers don't pay attention to fish grading? They don't see it as not really an aspect. You can see a farmer getting it right and getting his food stock, getting the right feed, getting the right water, knowing all routine. But this very aspect, they tend to neglect it. Why is this very aspect very neglected?
Yes, I think one of the issues here should be awareness, and that is why one would applaud a program of this kind, because it is definitely going to be an eye-opener to many. Because as I speak to you, many farmers are not aware that there is need for them to grade their fish before sales. All they are concerned about is to sort when the fish is in the pond to avoid cannibalism. But as soon as the fish is ready for sales, they harvest and they sell whole, and they are losing money. So I believe that strongly that the most reason that is making farmers behave this way is lack of awareness. But I believe that as many that will be able to watch this program, or are watching the program rather, they will benefit from this information. There is need for them to sort, and there is need for them to grade. If I see a live fish that is big enough, except I don't have money, I'll be willing to pay any amount. And there are people like me. So you have a live fish that is so big and you are giving it off with smaller fish together. So you are losing money. So I think that awareness and this is going to come in as a solution, so that farmers should know of the need and importance to grade and sort their fish before the fish is being sold. So grading does not only stop when you want to stock your fish or during the period of nurturing, but even at harvest it should be done, so that the ones that are very active, even if the market is not there, keep them aside. Somebody is going to come and they will pay well for the fish. So I will feel that awareness is the biggest problem here. But with this program, I believe farmers will come to have a change of operational procedure.
All right. What factor does one consider more when grading a fish? Like now you go to the market, now you want to probably get a fish that you feel, come on, this fish is good for me to actually pay for. What are the criteria? Is it the size? Is it the texture? Is it the look? Is it basically what is the species, in fact?
Well, the taste is not the same for different consumers and for different customers. And that is the more reason why all the criteria has to be considered when grading your fish. There are persons who will come, they want to buy dead fish. In fact, some will be even looking for the one that is partially bad. Why? Because they have less to pay. So they are looking for something they can afford. There are persons who want to see live fish. There are persons who want to see fish that is so big. There are persons who want to buy smaller fish because they don't have as much to pay, but they still need the fish. So that is the reason why all the criteria should be considered. The criteria of size, of weight, of liveliness, they should all be considered, of attractiveness, because you are going to find all sorts of customers asking for pot. So when you grade your fish, you are able to attract all the kind of customers. Those that want to buy live fish, you have them. Those that want to buy big fish, you have them. So all the criteria should be considered when grading fish for purposes of marketing.
Now, how do you know if your fish are ready for harvest? As a farmer now, probably how do you see, how do you say that my fish are really ready for sale?
Number one, there is need for you to carry out what we call test cropping, testing to see if your fish are ready for harvest. But even before then, you must have a mindset from the stocking, that when you stocked, how long are you expected to feed your fish, because that is going to enable you to make plans of feeding. So if you know that your fish, you are expected to feed them for 5 months before marketing, at the 4th month you begin to test crop to see their compliance with your own plans. Are they complying? Are they of a weight that they are going to be ready in the next 1 month? If yes, you can begin to do that maybe bi-weekly to see that they are ready or not. So you can only know if your fish is ready for harvest by doing what we call test cropping. So when you test crop, you will know if there is need for you to extend the time or even reduce the time, or you harvest at the actual time as you had earlier programmed. So test cropping is what will make the farmer to know that the fish are ready. And here too, some farmers are found wanting, because sometimes the farmer puts in their fish, and because they were told that your fish should be ready in 4 months or in 5 months, regardless of the management system, they are waiting for that time. Now, if your feeding is poor, if your feeding is inadequate, if your feeding is not sufficient, it is not going to comply. Or even if your water quality is not guaranteed, the fish can still not comply, because this has to do, the factors are all interwoven. It is not automatic. So you cannot sit back and wait that at 5 months you are going to harvest. At 5 months your fish may go nowhere because you didn't feed them properly. So only test cropping can make you understand if your fish are due or not.
My next question basically is, why is the price of fish started? We've seen that a lot of sectors have actually, the issue of inflation. Meat a kg now is almost 4k or 5,000 naira or even more. The list is endless. But when it comes to fish, the price has been the same from the days that it was 2.5 till these days now, even after the issue of subsidy removal, it's still static. Why is that so?
I think with this we may seek for government intervention, because I feel that justice is not done to fish farmers. Fish provides one of the most valuable protein. In fact, it's one of the highest protein that is being provided of animal origin. Fish gives protein that is superior to that of chicken and that of beef. This is because the protein that comes from fish contains all the essential amino acids, which are not found in these other products. You may find some of them, but not all. But all are found in fish, meaning that the biological value of fish protein is higher or superior to the rest. But one will begin to wonder why the price of fish is less compared to these other products you mentioned. A kg of chicken or that of beef is sold at well over 4,000 naira. Whereas fish farmers are begging to sell fish at 3,000 naira. Yet the buyers are refusing to pay on the farms. So I think that there is need for the government to come in here to regularize the prices of fish, because we are not getting it anywhere. Everything has skyrocketed, the input cost, the feeding, the medication, even the utility cost. We heard that even power holding, everything has gone up. So before you pump in water, the cost has doubled. For you to go to the market, the transportation cost has doubled. For you to buy the feed, that one I don't think is far more than doubled. But at the end of the day, the prices of fish, the increment is quite low. So I think the government needs to come in here, because we are crying, and this is forcing so many persons out of business. Sometimes it is not their fault, but the conditions are not favorable. So something needs to be done to stabilize the prices of fish, so that the farmer can make something at the end of the day from his investment.
Now, what can you say to fish farmers who have really abandoned the issue of breeding fish and, of course, making sure they pay attention to this? What can you say has caused them without them knowing? Because I'm sure it has caused them a lot of mistake without them knowing. Can you just pinpoint some of these things that it has caused them without them knowing?
It's simple. They have lost money without knowing. And the ultimate goal of venturing into a business is to make profit and solve a problem. So number one, you want to feed the nation, and in so doing, you also want to take home financial reward. So while you have succeeded in feeding the nation, you have lost the reward by yourself, and it's meant for you. So farmers should not give up that habit of grading before sales. It's very important.
On that note, we come to the end of the program Aqua Farming, where we discuss about fish grading and all you need to know about it. Until some other time, my name remains Joshua Ishaya. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.